Here we go with another match. We are on the play again, and we have a great hand with a curve of Lightning Bolt, Tarmogoyf, and then if we do the fetch land trick, we can actually boom on turn 3. I'm not going to mulligan, and here what I should do is probably get a Stomping Ground with the Misty. I want to keep that option open to pay 2 life and play Lightning Bolt in case he drops a 1-mana creature. And if he doesn't, then I can... I still have all the mana I need for both Tarmogoyf, Boom Bust, and then the Lightning Bolt. What I did do here was expose my Tarmogoyf, so that might have been a mistake, but it's my only play this turn, and I had no idea what he was playing, so he might be playing combo or whatever, so playing around a Lightning Bolt doesn't seem like the most important thing. This isn't the opponent I just played, right? Okay, I was confused there for a second. So let's see how this works. We boom our Catacomb and the Godless Shrine. And then we sacrifice this. Okay, Tarmogoyf is gone, but that's okay. We can now get Overgrown Tomb or Blood Crypt. Blood Crypt does give us an extra red, which is good. I could pay 2 here to have the option to Lightning Bolt, and I kind of like that. I still don't know what we are playing against, but the potential to potential for a great tempo play is probably worth it. He might be pathing his own Wayfarer, and what I'm doing is kind of bad if I cascade into a removal spell. But overall, I'm not too worried. Could go for Lotus Cobra here before playing Bloodbraid Elf, but I think the payoff of hitting something sweet is too good here. So Liliana isn't the greatest. But it still poses a serious threat. I don't really know what he's playing there. It doesn't look like a very serious deck. Probably just black-white with a lot of Arid Mesas, but he might also be playing some other color. Okay, Spectral Procession. Okay, that was pretty stupid. I didn't keep open my Lightning Bolt. Just misclicked basically. So now I really don't want to keep open. Don't want to keep. That was pretty bad. I wanted to have Lightning Bolt available, and then I could have still bolted a Spirit or used Liliana's +1. Now with the Bolt in hand, I of course don't really want to use the +1. But if I -2 a Spirit away, then my Liliana is history, which isn't what I want. On the other hand, he does have to attack her with everything, which exposes him to quite a lot of attacks on my part. He also could have something like On-Off the Pure, which would make it even better to let him sacrifice a creature. Yeah, that wasn't played very well. Of course, I just tapped any other lands and it's fine. Then I can still Lightning Bolt. Yeah, he gets a free Planeswalker here. And a Hero of Bladehold. So we have a lot of lands, but not much else. Do we want to block Hero of Bladehold, or do we want to attack into it? If he takes it, he's down to 7, which is basically 4. And he only attacks for 11. I think we can risk that. Let's see if that worked out or not. Of course, it all depends on what he has here. If he has an Honor of the Pure, we would already be dead, basically. Now, we could bolt that Scholar. It seems better than bolting a Spirit. The Spirit is going to deal us more damage, but the 2/2 is also kind of a problem. If we bolt the Spirit, then we are basically never going to win by attacking. But if we bolt the Scholar and then he holds back the Spirit, he has a blocker for the Cobra, but not for the Elf. That's the difference, basically. I don't think we are going to survive long anyway, so going to take the more aggressive route here. Could have also bolted him, but if he goes down to 4, another bolt won't really do it, so. Now we do have quite some outs, but Swamp isn't one of them. So we're playing against some weird token strategy, which means that we want the Pulse, and we probably want the Jund Charm as well. Liliana is kind of bad against a lot of tokens. Sometimes it does get the Hero of Bladehold, but that's not really great. Boom Bust seems best against combo decks, and this certainly isn't a combo deck. So maybe we can just make Jund into a more anti-creature aggressive deck again. Maybe we want the Battle Skull, but it depends on how long games are going to go. Kitchen Finks is also never bad, saving us some life and so on. I don't like Liliana because he's going to have too many creatures to back up his hero. That doesn't make Dismember bad though, because Dismember is good enough to kill a hero. It might be right to take out a Cobra or two, but I'm actually missing cards to board in, so I might just want a setup like this, Better Skull being pretty slow, and Abrupt Decay dealing with any auras or intangible virtues he might have. I think I like this package the best. And that's a great hand. Don't think you ever mulligan this. We can go turn 1 Death Ride, and then probably double discard on turn 2. So we want a lot of black mana. Overgrown Tomb isn't really needed. We could get the Godless Shrine on turn 1. Or the Blood Crypt, I guess, but we have a white spell already. Maybe he has a discard spell of his own, but that's fine. Trading discard spells here isn't the worst. And if he takes Lingering Souls, then we have a great next turn, being able to flash it back. So we did trade flashback spells. We did trade discard spells. And I'm just going to run out Lingering Souls. That way I can flashback next turn and play the Thoughtseize, still getting all his best cards probably. He might have a Scholar here, so he gets that Thoughtseize, which then protects any Spectre Processions or heroes he might have, but don't think I need to play around that, or I don't think I should play around that. Going to need a black to activate the Shaman, so in order to take the least amount of damage, I'm going to show him that I drew a Twilight Mire. I guess I could have left open Deathrite Shame with Godless Shrine, but I didn't really see a reason for that. Now we should be racing him pretty well here. If we draw any kind of action, it's amazing, and if not, then we still have a Deathrite activation, and hopefully he doesn't have Spectral Procession here. Playing a Celestial Purge on a Deathrite Chain when you are so far behind on the board seems ambitious, but we'll find out what his hand is pretty soon, because I'm going to bolt his Scholar and Thoughtseize immediately. His best turn is coming up basically, so I need to make sure that it's not a great card. Okay, that's difficult. So he has a Lingering Souls only. Tech Edge does get Blood Crypt now that we have 4 lands, but he just has to flashback Lingering Souls. And then he probably Tech Edges as well, but don't think I can not take it here, because it would just equate giving him 2 more tokens over the course of the game. So if he Tech Edges Blood Crypt and we draw either Bolt or Blood Braid, then we might be color screwed a little bit. It's not unreasonable that he might draw something that he wants to play. It's also possible that he doesn't Tech Edge for the case that he has Lingering Souls and Flashback coming up. But yeah, he's probably Tech Edging Blood Crypt here. Kitchen Finks is great because we can in fact play it. He knew about that Overgrown Tomb, so don't see a reason to hold it. What we could have done was to keep it, because we have a Lotus Cobra in our deck, so it would have provided the red source. An empty Scholar doesn't seem too amazing. It also seems like he doesn't even have a Path to Exile. in his deck, which is interesting. Oh, he does. Okay, never mind. That's actually fine. In order to protect some more life, he might have wanted to block the kitchen things with Tight Hollow Scholar and path a spirit token instead, even though it seems like a worse deal. That's interesting. Deathray Chain, certainly one of the better cards in these kind of matchups. But we have a Treetop Village that's beating down quite efficiently here. Don't really know what he's going to do. If he double blocks, then his Deathrite is gone, so there's very little outs left to him at that point. And I think we can still get... yeah, no, we can get only a Stomping Ground, so Marsh Flats isn't going to make red mana for us. At least I believe that's the case. Let's see. Yeah, we have Stomping Ground and Blood Crypt as our red sources to fetch. Might want to keep that in mind for later. He drew another Scholar. Oh, he drew another Deathrite Chain, so that's a good draw once again, giving him the option to gain some life. But no, he doesn't even have green mana. Okay, I take that back. Then Deathrite Chain is actually not that great at all. Did draw Lingering Souls though. Not being able to get another mana from Arid Mesa because he's on 1. So now he's going to block all my creatures. And Tarmogoyf is going to pressure him. He's also down to 3 mana. But he does have 3 creatures to my 1 next turn. I don't think he's playing Liliana, otherwise I probably would have kept back at least 1 Lingering Souls token. I expect him to attack for 1 with Deathrite Chain here. Deathrite looks to be the creature he wants to lose the least. And our Deathrite Chain should prove a little better than his. I feel like Deathrite is only really at its best when you have black and green mana available. Doesn't seem like very good card otherwise. So we did manage to even up this game. Liliana certainly wouldn't have been the worst, and even Better Skull doesn't look too bad here. I like most of what else we have, but I guess we can live with 1 less card. Yeah, John Charm is still amazing, so I'm going to keep that. I want to cut a Lotus Cobra, but that seems kind of awkward if you want to start playing with Better Skull. Lightning Bolt is the alternative, but I always like to have some Lightning Bolts. He has shown a lot of utility creatures, so I think Better Skull just doesn't really cut it. If the game goes long enough, we are pretty favored, I feel like. And we are playing some expensive cards already. If he has a Deathrite Chain here, we I don't think we can afford to dismember it. It is costing us some life potentially, but it's better to just try to Thoughtseize cards out of his hand. The question is how much life we have to protect here. We could Marsh Flats just for a swamp, and then we don't take any damage from that, because we are going to take a lot of damage in the near future. We can also cast everything as long as he doesn't interfere with our mana, so kind of like that. It does make potential Path to Exiles a little better, but yeah. Okay, his hand is completely garbage. Celestial Purge isn't really a good card against me. Now we take the Scholar and he's left with nothing basically. And also doesn't really have much against the Tarmogoyf except for Deathrite Shame being activated each turn. I guess he wants to activate a Deathrite Shame there, but attacking for 1 is almost always better than draining for 2, because you can always drain for 2 later, and you basically missed 1 point of damage. It does shrink my Tarmogoyf, so there might be some reasons to do it like that. I just think you can be a little more aggressive there. At this point, we could Thoughtseize to find out what he has, which might be a good idea, but he had 4 mana already, so it's possible that he just didn't have a play. If he had had Hero of Bladehold, it would be in play right now. So I think we're just going to cast Kitchen Finks and see what he does. We do know at least 2 of his cards. I don't know if we know any other cards. And from now on, every turn that goes by where he doesn't do anything is very, very good for us. And pretty bad for him, so. Creatures you control get +1/+1, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 before blockers. Yeah, I'm going to Abrupt Decay then. That does add instants to the graveyard, making my Tarmogoyf bigger. I don't think there's anything I want to Thoughtseize, but I won't have the time to do so later. If he draws anything good, it's just going to be in play, so. And that's game.